Commissioner, we're going to start by saluting the flag. All right, we're going to start with roll call.
All right. Mr. Henderson.
Present.
Mr. O'Brien is here. Mr. Everett.
Present.
Ms. Leschuk.
Here.
Mr. Hartzell.
Here.
Mr. Haney is not present.
Thank you. All right, we're going to start with item number 1, the Act 537 plan update between Falls Township and Morrisville Borough regarding the wastewater treatment facility at the Keystone Trade Center.
Good evening. I'm Bob Campbell with Pinoni Associates. I'm the authority engineer for Morrisville Municipal Authority. Morrisville Municipal Authority is in the process of requesting a 537 plan update, sewage facilities planning update to Falls Township's 537 plan and Morrisville's 537 plan. The reason it's Falls Township is because the proposed wastewater treatment plant will reside in Falls Township. So, and this goes back a while, so I'll give you a little background on the project. About 10 years ago, Morrisville was having problems meeting effluent quality requirements. There were restrictions placed on Morrisville's system. Morrisville signed a consent assessment of civil penalty in 2019 and also completed various improvements as required by the DEP to improve their effluent quality, including replacements of the tertiary treatment system and a replacement of their outfall. Subsequent to signing the corrective action plan, we were corrective action plan. We were required to conduct a feasibility study, and based on increasing effluent requirements, effluent quality requirements on the Delaware River, what we have found is that we would not be able to meet those requirements with the existing wastewater treatment plant. So the feasibility study concluded that a new wastewater treatment plant would be the best alternative in order to meet the ever-increasing effluent quality requirements being placed. So we did a search for a location. During that search, U.S. Steel's facilities were purchased by North Point, as you're all aware. North Point approached Morrisville and offered to sell them their wastewater and water systems. Morrisville purchased both the water and wastewater systems and is now the operator of the former U.S. Steel wastewater treatment plant down at what is now known as Keystone Trade Center. That site appears to be a great site for the construction of address is 1 Sessa Circle, by the way. So that site, we have elected to build a new wastewater treatment plant. It's an 8 million gallon a day wastewater treatment plant, currently in design by HRG. We have prepared the 537 plan update, which is that folder sitting next to me, and I believe you've all received a copy electronically. And I believe the township also has a hard copy available in their office. The proposal is to decommission the existing Morrisville wastewater treatment plant, construct a transfer pump station, convey the flow down to U.S. Steel. It's about a 5-mile force main, and conduct treatment down there, build a new discharge pipe out to the Delaware River, and discharge into the Delaware River. The reason we're here, obviously, as I said, is we need your input and comments to the 537 plan as required by PADEP. The timeline on that is 60 days from submission, which would mean, I believe, that would place it after your next or at your next planning commission meeting. It's 60 days is up over the Thanksgiving holiday. So any questions, comments you have right now, I'd be happy to answer.
Are there any board are there any board questions?
So this is just the 537 plan revision. Like, there's a lot more that is going to be coming across the table for this, or is this some type of?
Well, it'll go to land development ultimately.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just making sure that that's what this is.
Yeah, this is sewage planning approval. There is no impact on Falls Township really as far as your service area It gives you an opportunity to provide wastewater service to the South Pennsylvania Avenue area, and we have included that in our capacity.
Yeah, okay. Then no more questions.
Any other questions? Is there any public comment? All right, let the record reflect there was no public comment. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval for the joint Morrisville Borough and Falls Township 537 plan revision based on the Pannoni October 2nd, 2025 letter.
And the testimony tonight?
Excuse me?
And the testimony tonight?
Yes, in the testimony.
Okay. Second, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, number 2, MYNB LLC, 301 West Trenton Avenue, Morrisville, PA 19067. Tax map parcel 13-035. All right, well, since I was just notified they're not here yet, we'll go to item number 3 and we'll come back to them. PG Rentals, 95 Lower Marshall Road, Fallsington, PA 19054. Tax map parcel 13-032-090, zoned PIP, owner P&G Rentals, Russ Protas. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good evening. My name is Mike McGinnis, Begley Carlin, here on behalf of Pro Group Properties LLC, who is now the owner of the property we're here to discuss tonight, located at 95 Lower Morrisville Road. Property is located in the PIP district, and it is approximately 4 acres. We went to the zoning hearing board on this site back in the summer of 2024 to procure a number of dimensional variances which would facilitate the construction of an exterior expansion of the macadam and the parking areas predominantly on this property. It is currently improved with a structure which is approximately 27,000 square foot in size. We are not modifying or expanding the physical structure on site. This is a very interesting property, and John Genovese, who's with me, will go through this in a second. But as you can see from the aerial, which I handed out, it is zoned PIP. It has functioned in an industrial capacity for, at least to the best of my knowledge, forever. But it is also adjacent to a couple residential properties and across the street from another group of residential uses. So part of the development that we've proposed is being mindful of the residential impact of any modification to the site. And if you look at the site plan, we are very clear about honoring the buffer areas that exist on the Plan West and the Plan Northwest portion of the site to minimize any impact that our expansion of the exterior would have on the adjacent residential community. This development work is absolutely critical to facilitate the expansion of my client's business, and I do have Russ Protas here who's going to explain what that is momentarily. He relocated from the site that he was renting and growing in Bristol to purchase this property and grow his business in Falls Township. And this, from a very high level, is I think, an incredibly interesting business, and that's why we handed out the pictures. Yes, the first page is an aerial, but if you look at the rest of the pictures which we distributed, PGE specializes in modification of large trucks to ride rail lines and to work on railroads. PGE's clients are predominantly large entities which you're all familiar with, such as Conrail, SEPTA, Amtrak, Norfolk Southern, who really have a need for this very unique business. The vehicles get adapted to actually ride the rail lines. 99% of the work, which is going to be occurring post, hopefully, the development expansion on the site, is going to be the interior of the building. We just need a little bit of exterior modification for laydown areas for storage of the material, as Russ will get into in a second. Not a heavy truck operation, doesn't deal with 18-wheelers, not a heavy traffic generator. Just, I think, a very good and a very unique business, which we're happy to relocate to Falls Township and expand here. So what I'd like to do is have Russ give you a little bit more background about who he is and what his company does. John's here to go over the site plan, and then we have a couple of waivers which we'll address with the Planning Commission that have been identified in the Jones Engineering Review. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Russ Protas, owner of the Pro Group Equipment, PG Rentals. We are a rental company with approximately 200 units in our fleet. So we renting, upfitting vehicles mostly for the transits and the Class 1 railroads. Majority of the upfits is happening specifically in our location. That's why we moved here, because we moved the location from Bristol, just ran out of space, and Morristown, New Jersey. That's why we moved to your township. And all the work specifically on the vehicles is happening inside the property itself. But as far as the laydown yard, it's a necessity for us because we are building the equipment, we kind of piecing it together. We're getting the chassis separate, we're getting the body separate, unit and the gear, and we putting everything together inside the shop. So the laydown yard, it is a necessity for us, and for employees who's working, we kind of run out of space, what we already currently have. So growing good. We have a 2-year contract still with the SEPTA, doing a lot of work with the Amtrak, Conrail, like Mike mentioned it, so both transits and the Class 1 as well. The reason why we bought the property, specifically located at your township, because as you know, Conrail yard is literally down the street from you guys, from us, and like 0.7 miles away. So trying to support as railroads as much as we possibly can.
And then if I can, I'll have John, if you just do a site overview, and then we're happy to answer questions and go through the waiver request.
Good evening. My name's John Genovese. I work for Tri-State Engineers. We're in Feasterville. And we did the plans for the site. And so I'll go to the final plan, which is the aerial, and we can look at that real close. So if you bear with me, I'll just go through the set to the end. And here's the aerial. So that the site is what you see outlined in that white line, that white outer line. It's 4 acres. The building where all the work will take place, of course, is right there in the center. And the existing extent of the paving is here. To the lower left are 2 residential properties, and then to the upper left is the Fallsington Elementary School property. And then to the right is the rest of the planned industrial park. Lower Morrisville Road is down there, and Locust Lane is right there. Okay, so then I'll go back to a plot plan for the proposed site work.
Pardon me 1 second. Could you go back to the aerial view?
Sure.
The dwelling on Locust Lane, is there a piece of their property on your property, or is the property line not correct?
No, the property line's correct. There's a shed or structure that was constructed across the line.
All right, it doesn't look like we're going to impact that area, but was there any sort of agreement between a previous owner and a current owner?
I think Mike would be better to answer that question.
Not that we're aware of, that was documented, and Russ was aware of, we'll label it the encroachment when he acquired the property. We're okay with that remaining there and not asking that to be removed. It's within a fairly large buffer area. I do think eventually it would be beneficial, mostly for our client, for there to be a documented right of easement for liability purposes and other things. But we are aware of the encroachment, and we're not going to ask that to be removed.
All right, thank you.
So while we are here, you may want to notice that along this property line, this is heavily treed, and 50 feet off of the property line is a required buffer area under the ordinance, and that tree line, 50 feet wide, will remain, and we will not go into that. Also, in that area here, if I can get my pointer there. Hold on. Here we are. That's an existing above-ground detention basin. So let's go back to the site plan. This is a site plan. It shows the main features. The existing building is here, and there's no additions to it. There's a small loading dock to the right, which is existing, and the area of the parking is here. And where I pointed to the detention basin, there will be an underground recharge system to go in its place. There's a small amount of additional parking here. The parking you see here is existing. Parking against the building is existing. And there's a small amount of parking here near the recharge basin. And the buffer area, sorry, I'm not used to it. This is the buffer area. It's 50 feet wide. It wraps all the way around, even onto the school property. And you can see there's an additional recharge basin behind it, behind the building. And then there's a driveway that comes around from back to front. The laydown areas that we talked about already, there's a laydown area in the back. Again, that system is underground. And there's a laydown area on this side of the building. We can go to the existing features plan quickly, and then if you have any more questions, I'd be glad to. This is the existing features plan, and again, here's the basin, the steep slopes that we would impact, which Mike will get to when we talk about waivers, is just on this corner right here. And again, none of the steep slopes in the buffer area will be impacted. Do you have any questions?
I think the only other thing thanks, John. I think the only other thing that I would point out is you could probably imagine with Russ's business, the equipment that he utilizes is very, very expensive. So in addition to maintaining the buffer, there is going to be fencing for security purposes. That's a whole nother layer between that site and the school property I wanted to point out in particular. I think John covered the rest, and I'm happy to just run through the waivers really quickly, and then we can open it up to any questions that you have if you'd like.
Yeah, we can go with the waivers.
Good. Okay. So we have the 191-8B waiver request for preliminary final. We have 191-37B, which is the parking field within 15 feet of a structure, and that's an existing condition with the parking that's there already. We have 191-37G with the parking rows exceeding 20 spaces without the curb planting beds. Again, that's really an existing condition that we're slightly modifying. We're asking that to remain. We have a waiver request from 191-37G4, which is the requirement of additional trees in that parking area for every, I think, 12 parking spaces. One of the conversations that Russ we had before coming here is at the entrance, if the township would like, he can plant a couple extra trees. He has no objection to that. He wants the property to look nice. But obviously, every square foot of macadam on this site is very important. So if we're doing that, we'd like that to be along the frontage, or maybe we could find a couple extra spaces within the buffer area. There is a waiver request from 191-39G and 61A for sidewalks, which are not in the vicinity. There is a comment in Joe's letter that says properties within the PIP district are exempt, so I'm not sure if that's actually a waiver request, but if it is, we're asking for it. We have a waiver request for the bottom edge of slopes to be within 5 feet of a property line. That is in the Plan East portion where we're adding a couple of the spaces along the commercial or industrial property boundary. We're going to be able to facilitate those improvements without encroaching on the neighboring property, but we are within that 5 foot that's required. We have a waiver from 191-48A, which again relates to street trees. John's highlighted this, but I will again reiterate, just for purposes of the record, that this site will remain very heavily buffered with trees, especially along the residential property boundary. We have a waiver request from 191-52-1B3-B1 and 191-52-1B3-B2, both relating to slopes. You can see them, it is really almost exclusively on the Plan West and the Plan Northwest, or the northwest corner of the building, where we're adding the laydown area. That's the area that we're impacting the slopes. And that also is in tandem with the woodlands, which is the next waiver request, which is 191-52-1B4-B1. And I thought it was important to highlight, you see a number that's 50.14%, and you think, oh, they're cutting down half the trees on the site. That's not true. That is only with respect to the woodlands in the slope area. So we're maintaining the vast majority of the trees on this site as a buffer. And then the last waiver request is 191-71A, and again, that's another reiteration of the street trees of planting where suitable. So again, we're happy to work with Joe and the township to see if there's a couple additional places we can put trees near the entrance. Everything else is a will comply, including everything in the stormwater management ordinance.
Are there any board questions?
I would,
just-
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so just to reiterate, you're gonna have a chain link fence around the entire property. Does that include like the actual driveway into it and everything too?
Yeah, on the front, we got.
Oh, do you want me to ask it again? All right. See, even I do it. So you're gonna have a chain link fence around the whole thing, and that includes the actual like driveway going in, correct?
On the 3 sides, it's going to be chain link. On the front, we're going to put the plastic just for a visual purposes. It's going to look better.
Okay.
And yeah, I would like to see as many trees as possible along the front that you can plant, obviously within reason, but definitely would like to see that partnership there.
On the front, specifically in an area that does not belong to us, on the Locust Street, we already have that portion, and there is like older trees that already there existing that we're not even touching. So we'll
Okay.
figure out the way how to.
Yeah,
put
that's
it
fine.
between-
I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
stop the waiver. I just, something I'd appreciate, so.
Sorry, go.
That front laydown area that you're taking, what is currently there in that space now? Is that like old parking or anything?
Like as of right now, What's existing as far as the parking? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, old parking, yeah. It was like, before, it was a water treatment facility, so they would park vehicles. We right now parking at the vehicles with the bodies, with the units sitting like kind of on the front of the garage.
Thank you.
So this would be like a maintenance shop, like you'll be doing work to the truck, you might have a body outside in a lay-down yard, like you won't be parking, will you be parking your vehicles that are not being rented? at the
Correct.
Time?
Yeah, we parking it on the property, both chassis and the units that we're working on them
Okay.
inside the garage as well. Yeah.
And one more thing, did you say 19162B and 19137B? Did
Which-
you didn't mention them? 8 and 9, no, on this?
It went from 19152, 1B4B1 to 19171.
91.
I didn't realize that that was a back conversation that needed to be recorded. I apologize.
19137B, is that was regard to the...
I was going down the Jones Engineering review letter for the items that were identified from Joe's office as requiring waiver requests. I just went down in tandem.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thanks. We also I'll just note this, Russ has a video and actually always has a live stream of the work that's going on inside the building. It's pretty cool. So if anyone wants to see that, he has that and can, on a big tablet that he can show.
One more thing, so you saying that, is there work going on, is it all hours of the night, are you working
No, just a standard business hours.
just standard
Yeah,
business?
Yeah. Working like a shop, it's always 5 days a week.
Yep.
When we have to send the vehicles out, like this weekend, we worked on a Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Just because we have to deliver it like 5 vehicles to Amtrak in North Jersey. But
Yeah,
usually,
Jeff-
no.
Russ over, Mike, sorry.
Oh.
he's-
Usually, it's a 5 days a week, like from a 7 to 6. Shop usually
Yeah.
starting at 7, and the 6 office ends. I'm staying till 8, just because I have to. And, but yeah, normal business hours.
Part of the reason why I've highlighted that compared to some other projects is whenever any conversation occurs with exterior materials or exterior storage, there's a concern that something's going to turn into like a chop shop or a junkyard, and that is, you couldn't get any further from that with this business and the dollar amounts and the value and the quality of the equipment. So I just wanted to distinguish that.
All right. So, real quick about the question that Dan just asked. Excuse me. So your normal hours are going to be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then, but with occasional Saturdays, with occasional overtime work?
Yeah, when it's an emergency, for example, either Amtrak, SEPTA, anybody have an emergency on the track line, we there to support as well.
Yeah.
So we acting as an emergency service as well, specifically to provide the equipment what's needed in order to complete the jobs.
So technically, if they called you at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd go send someone to the shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so either it's in a Trenton to Amtrak, if there is a derail somewhere, we gotta be there in order to provide the help, yeah.
All right, so so it's normal business hours with occasional overtime and also emergency services?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Is there any public comment on the issue? Let the record reflect there was none. Are there any more board questions? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to recommend preliminary and final land development application, PG Rentals, 95 Lower Morrisville Road, TMP number 13-032-090, based on the Jones Engineering letter dated June 19th, I think. The Remington and Vernix engineering letter dated June 13th as well, with waivers of, one second, 191 8B, 19137B, 19137G1, 19137G4, with the caveat that hopefully you can work with the township on possibly fronting a couple trees or, not disturbing them to kind of block view of pedestrians. 19139G, 19161A, 19144D, 19148A, 19152-1B3B1, 19152.1B3B2, 19152.1B4B1, and 19171A, which, once again, as we continue to say, work with the township on trees.
I'll second it.
All right, Jesse, pull the board.
All right, I say yes, Mr. O'Brien. Mr. Everett,
Yes.
Ms. Leschuk,
Yes.
Mr. Hartzell,
Yes.
Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
congratulations.
Have a good night.
Good night. Well, seeing that item number 2, nobody's here, I'll ask for a continuance till next month.
Second
I'll
that.
make a motion for a continuance.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now, item number 4, minutes from September 23rd. It was a real long read from what I saw.
I'd like to have the minutes read. No, I'm just kidding.
Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.